welcome aboard the Africa Tram. If you can hear me clearly, raise your hand, please. All right, we're together. Like it. My name's Carol, and I'll be driving you around for about 25 minutes with some great sights to see. But first, safety. The doors on either side of us are only latched, so please avoid them, because if you sit or lean on them, they're going to pop open. Should a medical emergency occur, however, and you're sitting in the first car with me, just tap on the window and say, Carol, I need the medic. If you're in the second or third cars, however, the ceiling above you has a yellow strip. Press and hold that, and it'll send a medical alert into the cab. Of course, what people are looking at on the right side is the cheetah habitat. They're probably enjoying, which you can too, if you walk there 5 minutes from the station. And that way you can stay for longer, because they don't always make an appearance on this side, and well worth the trek. There are a lot of foot trails to access today, so make sure that you get on one of them. They have so much to offer. But the tram does too, because we're taking you out to the field, representing geographic locations. East Africa on the left is one of them, and we'll be returning to this section in roughly 20 minutes. We start with South Africa. Enjoy the road trip, and the greater plane goes visually. All right. There are approximately 3,000 animals in our collection. And of course, not all of them will we talk about, nor will all of them be seen, because there are many sections this roadbed doesn't have access to that incorporate the ideas of putting animals in sections if they're more endangered than others, or more sensitive, or even bachelors in their respective bachelor herds, placed other than in the herd structure at times, as warranted. So for the fact that we do have a lot of visiting wildlife, the California mule deer might be visible if you look left or right of us in the clearings, and look for movement, because they're here, and they always will be, thankfully, because we protect them too. And as passionate as we are about protecting plants and animals, we appreciate you having the same mindset. We're all in this together for the next generation's sake, making sure it's all available to them, as it's been beautifully for us. Nature is nurturing. You'll see what I mean when you go out and enjoy South Africa. And this is South Africa. The island paradise is home to the great white pelicans from the Danube Delta. And of course, the man-made lagoon is an attraction, and has, even as of yesterday, had sightings of the Canada geese that come down here and spend a couple of months with us. So they were on the shoreline yesterday, and I saw them indeed, at least about a dozen of them, the first wave coming in, and they spend the evening across the way in the fields on our right. So it's a neat thing to see them coming in great numbers. And any that migrate, whether they be insects, birds, or mammals, all need the land to be there, so that's the primary reason we emphasize that first, and then secondarily, making sure that the communities are involved. So our 250 plus scientists work with so many communities to share the responsibilities we all have in protecting our environment and ecosystems. We work currently with about 70 countries and 6 continents, and we've returned 40 species to the wild thus far. So it's a big push for ending extinction as a vision, and certainly with a lot of great people like you, knowing animals are endangered, we'll all be heroes for wildlife that way. Now, noted is the section on the right that not all of us will see easily. Again, typifying these sections for those in bachelor herds, respectively, and on the right side, as you can well appreciate, but not see. And knowing that there are grubby zebra in here too, not necessarily will you, depending on your position in the vehicle either. So it is assured that they get all that they need, medical care, land, space, privacy, good food. What's not to love about that? And that's why we do what we do. We give them what they need, so they give us babies. And then we share them with all the countries, get them to stay in the wild. Now this on the right is a marshland. It's a beautiful thing. And if you feel like standing up, you could do that when the vehicle fully stops. And as I do currently, if you stand up and do a 180, you might see some in the back. I definitely see the Rappel's vultures. They've got a huge nest behind the waterfall. And as we push forward, the blind date, I hope, is working for some birds that were newly added. The blue crane. Can't tell that they're getting along, but I think they are. One at least I see here on the right as we leave. Oh, the other one's close by. I think it's working. But you never know. You can put two in the same room and nothing happens, right? You betcha. We get it. And we also get the best keepers in the planet to be here helping these animals survive in captivity, and of course working with the veterinarians. And if you're interested in anything with zoology as a background, or animal care science, or conservation, you're in. Here on the left-hand side, you do have some sable antelope, and eland, and giraffe. And what a precious sight that is, because you'd have to go to the wild to see this, and we all can. And they all work in communities together. For example, if you're out in the wild and a giraffe's eating a tree, that's a good thing, because then it's not eating what you need on the ground. Specific vegetation, each one has a preference for, to the extent that some even eat certain things that prevent parasites for that species. And we certainly know the habitats they're in definitely need to be there, because they have specific vegetation needs. To show you what I mean, as we leave this section, I'll try to get you closer to one of our tallest Maasai giraffe, reaching up and getting that leaf off the two oldest trees hand planted in here alongside us next as we stop and enjoying the moment. The vertical move giraffe make is because of the fact that they have a ball and joint socket at the end of the skull that allows them to do that without hurting themselves. We'd break something for sure. So show us how the technique works, fella. Come on. Don't be shy. Show us. He says, are you kidding? I'm not going to do it because you want me to. I know. Nope. Don't even look at me. What a face. What an attitude. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful specimen. That got your attention, didn't it? Yes, you are handsome. Okay. Will that entice you to eat the vegetation above your head? Or is it too high? See, our horticulture department trimmed some of the trees. Giraffe are probably annoyed with us, like, hey, I could get this before. Now I can't. He's hypnotized by somebody on the tram. We're thinking good thoughts about what to do for the afternoon, as are we. What do I do when I get home? What do I eat? Where do I go? All those things are part of the picture out here too. Do they want to hang around? Always impressive. He says, okay, you can leave now, so I can eat the tree. I'm going. Reach up. Give somebody in the last row a chance to see it. Oh, heck no. If I am so stubborn. Well, that's personality for you, and that's what we want. Fine with me. The babies, delightfully visible here on the left. Seldom do we see for the Gemsbok or South African oryx. They're already going from brown that they are when they're born in color to lavender like the adults. That's about a 4-month-old transition. When they're 4 months, they start looking like the adults. And when you're going to survive in the wild, you need giraffe around you. Yeah, there's the sentinels that'll tell you something's up and be on the alert, and everybody else will be. But these hang around giraffe not only for that reason, but when you see animals that survive out in the wild, it's either behaviors like that or it's color like these have that help them blend in, because that silverish gray lavender color really blends in. You try to find any others of this Gemsbok species under the shade trees and you'll be hard pressed to find them. That's for sure. They're out here in bigger numbers than just 4. Anything beyond the middle, though, we'll share with you from the other side, so we'll book it down the road to see if we can find any others here on the left, visible to us all And when we get to the other side, we'll then mention who those are beyond the middle bend. The Cape buffalo, definitely an impressive animal, but the coloration on the right, memorable, indeed, and functional for the Somali wild ass. Aren't they stunning? Baby, I don't know if you can see it up there, a couple of weeks old, maybe a little bit more now. Time goes so quickly for these babies, and then in no time they're huge. But where that color helps them disappear in the desert, it really doesn't work much for that lately, because in Somalia's civil war they used them as a food source. We don't even know how many are left now. Too dangerous to go in. So they're not going to be put back in the wild anytime soon, for sure. Got to be a safe place. Crows on our left know it. This is a safe place, and they're visitors. They come and go at their discretion, and certainly appreciating that too. Choices are everything for everybody. Even the mountain habitat on the right is a challenge, and if you look up, you might see some bighorn sheep and goats called Nubian ibex, but only if they move. Anybody see anything? Nope. Sometimes, early this morning I did. But it is an impressive place because it's all natural. And you know well, goats and sheep eat bushes quickly, right? So they got a lot of them. And no bushes are left. And we appreciate the fact that we've got sections like this in varied terrain to allow these animals choices. That's a perfect one for goats and sheep. And perfectly visible across the rooftops, the black rhino listening to us. Hello, Lembe. Who's your friend? Huh? We got a lady that came in here a few weeks ago who was in this boma below us hiding, getting used to the sights and sounds, and we're something to get used to, I'll tell you, before she's released out into the yard, and eventually, hopefully, we'll acquire a male. They're tough to breed. Black rhino are gorgeous. Only 2,500 left, too. Certainly, the woodland dwellers at the very bottom, the roan antelope, make an appearance, but look at this. You never see these kudu, especially the male who's interested in one of the ladies, hubba hubba. And we're asked not to stop on the hill, so enjoy. They're gorgeous. Leaving the greater kudu and then looking to the bottom for roan antelope that are also from the woodlands. Maybe one scout is standing at the top of the hill in the middle ahead of us, checking things out. And in between everybody else, we'll look for some on this side we can all see, but stop on the bridge up ahead of us to look for others. What a magnificent ride it's been for 46 years out here. Because what's around us is San Diego County, and that's exactly what we looked like when we started. 8 years of drought, pretty telling though, you need water. We get ours, we recycle it through the filtration plant, pump it back into the man-made lagoons that basically feeds the sprinklers that are on timers and the drinkers the animals utilize. So conservation, of course, has to be at the forefront of what we do, including the protection of natural resources like that. In the forest, on the right, up ahead of us about 12 o'clock, you see some of the Zambezi lechwe, and if you look behind us on the right, the little tan ones are back there about 6 o'clock. The red-fronted gazelle, a visiting white egret, stands on one of the tree limbs near the island, making a pretty picture indeed. Nature is artistic, isn't it? Boy, it's gorgeous. It feeds us emotionally, too, in a beautiful way. So as we're guided downhill, looking for others, not yet visible, that we can all see, enjoy the road trip and the successes you've helped us achieve, because we're a nonprofit. So we're all in this together, and we're grateful for this family that is worldwide that you're a part of. we will see them bathe the black rhino cruising downhill slowly ahead of us. And maybe we'll get to a point where she'll come on towards us. I don't know, that'd be rare. But when we stop next, you'll see her and then hopefully some Ankole cattle that are here too. Huge horns. We're looking for them as we stop next. Downhill near the gate, it partitions this enclosure from the one next door that houses the Barbary sheep climbing the rocks just to get a better view of the cattle. Cool. They can see them, I'll tell you. They can see it in South Africa too. So it's quite a visual when you see this perspectively. Black rhino are stocky in build. They have an upper lip that's semi-prehensile, like your finger it can bend, allowing them to do what giraffe do, eat vegetation above their head. They tuck in the upper lip, allows them to graze like other square-lipped rhinos, and certainly appreciating the differences socially, and physically, and genetically. Our over 250 scientists sure help us learn more about each. Not only the rhinos, but, the cattle that are status. And if you have a lot of these Ankole cattle, your status goes way up in the wild, so they don't eat them. They are also predecessors to the Texas Longhorn. And the rocks are real. To show you that, you just have to look at the outer environment. They're mostly granite, and they're home to plants and animals that thrive in the shadows. Manzanita, yucca, the outcroppings of rock, all that's part of the natural terrain specific to San Diego County. Yet knowing that we study the biodiversity of it, it's important to save home. San Diego is second to only Hawaii now in having the most endangered plants. We know that, too. Here's a beautiful vantage point of some 6-month-old ostriches. Yeah. While the keeper's away, the ostrich will play, you bet. They'll grab a bit to eat out of the back end of the truck. We've got lots of different diets. Birds are specialists in certain things that they need versus mammals that get a pretty general feel for hay and oats and alfalfa as a staple. And together, we go through about $1.2 million worth of food out here for 3,000 animals. So thanks for helping us feed them. That's just part of the picture too. You're helping the researchers do what they do, getting to the communities, getting them to make a difference, and working as a global family is important. If you haven't gone on our website lately to see something called Wild Watch Kenya, you might want to do that. The scientists in Kenya have set up cameras. You can be one of the citizen researchers counting the animals in that area from afar, from your home computer, and assisting them with the head count. It's really cool. Our website is sandiegozooglobal.org. Get in the Wildlife Conservancy part and you'll see wildwatchkenya.org. Familiarizing yourself with the ways that can improve our world, enhanced by that technology currently. Here on the left side, you got eland, springbok, and waterbuck. We'll stop next to them all, but also look to the right and talk about North Africa too. Well, there you go. Let's talk about North Africa first. You have the breeding herd on our right, the Ankole cattle. Never do I see them on this side until like 5 o'clock, so take advantage of that. Nor do you see the white ones up ahead, scimitar horned oryx, but I think with the cloud cover, they're here, thankfully. Anytime there's cloud cover, you'll see more animals than on a typical day that we've had, where it's non-ending intensity of sunlight. I like dawn and dusk. Could we have more of that? A little cooler, please? Turn down the heat. We're getting hotter every year, and staying that way for longer. Those on the right ahead of us, though, don't mind heat. They're from the desert, and they've been returned to the desert. The scimitar horned oryx deflect the heat with that white coat, and they've been returned to the outskirts of the Sahara, so we're grateful for that. The others in here, midway between the two, close to us, Ugandan cob. That's the bachelor. We have 2 bachelors in there. And yet the circles on the rear of the Ellipson waterbuck on our left give away their namesake, Ellipson waterbuck. It's called a follow me mark because in tall grasses near the waterways where they dwell, it's an easy visual to cue in on, so that makes sense. and a mark that they follow. So survival hinges on markings like that, or colorations, or even behaviors, where so many of them will stand or sit facing different directions purposely to prevent predators from sneaking up on them. So all the instincts that they do in the wild are definitely going to be seen here. The advantages in having a lot of space and good luck in seeing them, which we do. Our next part of the journey will be in East Africa shortly to enjoy more. Everybody looks like they're going down for a nap out here. So should we, huh? It's good for the soul. Between the hills on our right is a tree, and under it some Thompson's gazelle doing just that. Close to us, since the East African crowned crane have been fed by the keepers who threw out some tidbits, the crows are all over that. It's like, yeah, some for me too. They're visitors, but we don't mind. An opportunity for you to see two of our southern white rhino might come up here on the right, as well as an opportunity to see this cheetah on our left if it shows up. So I'll stop here. The cheetah's up ahead of us, about 12 o'clock on the left, scouting out the turf, new to the habitat, and a little bit confused, I'm sure. So the behaviors around here trying to ensure the tranquility for a newcomer to get adjusted to us and all the sights around him. So if he comes back, we'll have the privilege of seeing him. But he may go in a big 360 and say, I want to avoid everybody, or sit right there where he is. Okay, relax too. On the right, relaxing are 4 southern white rhino, maybe more behind that tall structure, hiding from us, including the babies. We've had 97 southern white rhino births in 46 years. They can hide all they want. They're our emblem for the success of the program. And of course, this heart-shaped nose, don't let it fool you. This animal, the water buck, is not friendly, nor soft and cuddly, though the heart-shaped nose looks like he should be, huh? They're not even endangered because of the oily hide and meat not useful for human consumption. And we have animals that aren't endangered because we don't know what the future holds. So a mix of all levels, definitely important to have. Rarely will you get a chance to see the southern white rhino down here unless it's overcast like this, so taking full advantage of that rare moment, we'll stop and enjoy the visual. They are the lawnmowers of the universe. They eat heavy grasses nobody else can eat. That's a good thing. So the balance of nature hinges on somebody, understanding the impact, somebody meaning 8 billion people on this planet, that each animal makes. The benefits are ours if they're there on this planet. That's all I can say, basically. Whether the giraffe are used in the bushmeat trade and the coat trade, there won't be any in the wild in 15 years. That doesn't sit well with us. You can take a photo caravan and feed them if you want sometime, and enjoy the moment with them right now. Those are rare opportunities given to you by our specialists on board, both driving and talking. Our guides are world-renowned and appreciated indeed. You ever been slimed by a giraffe? You really haven't lived until you've been slimed. with long, kind of stringy saliva, but it dries quickly on you. It's really weird, but helps coat the mouth when they eat thorns. They love thorny acacia. And I love them and the Cape buffalo and the potential date that one of the giraffes having with a lady, getting up right there behind her and saying, hubba hubba, want a date? And our journey takes us back to the home base. 2.5 miles to cover. And of course, when I get you there, I'll tell you how easy the exit is. But first, a big thank you to all of you sincerely from me for having the mindset that we all need more of. More people should be like you. Take care of this planet.